Hi, I'm Kay, and I spent last weekend playing Spider-Man 2. I ended up playing over 30 hours and getting the platinum. And honestly, it was an awesome experience. But after everything was finished, I sat there staring at my screen and thinking, why did I spend all that time playing this? And I want to be clear, this wasn't guilt about playing a video game. It was the realization that I had other things I genuinely wanted to do this weekend. I was actually supposed to write, record, and edit this video, and instead of holding myself accountable, I just kept telling myself, one more mission, just one more. So I felt guilt about doing that instead of doing something that really mattered to me. That feeling of shame stuck with me because I've been trying to break my habit of mindless consumption, and I realized something uncomfortable. When I consume media without intention, it's usually because I'm avoiding something else. Whether that was the stress of work, personal discomfort, or even just sitting alone with my thoughts. For the past month, I've been actively working on becoming a more intentional media consumer. As a Gen Zer, I'm no stranger to phone addiction and overconsumption. We live in a time of constant stimulation. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, autoplay, notifications. I'm sure you guys understand. I mean, there's always something competing for our attention. In my previous video, I talked about the importance of journaling and articulating why you like something. I used Minecraft as an example and talked about my personal relationship to the game and how it actually inspires me to be an artist in the real world as well. I'll link that video in the description if you ever want to check that out. It was my first ever YouTube video. I'd really appreciate the support. Anyway, the reason this matters is once you understand why you like something, your relationship to it changes. It doesn't have to be as deep or philosophical as you might think. It can be as simple as I like this movie because it comforts me when I'm sad. That reflection alone turns media into something purposeful and personal. You're no longer just consuming, you're connecting. But journaling is only one of the methods I use to combat mindless consumption. So, I want to share a few more habits that help me become more intentional with media. They don't make me perfect, but they help me make more conscious choices. First, I simplified my phone. I realized my phone was the ultimate distraction for me. And I mean, I've known this for a long time. You just kind of have this off and on relationship with your phone. So I made it boring on purpose. I removed apps from my home screen, turned off notifications, and made distractions harder to access. I'm gonna make a detailed video on how to simplify your phone in the future. That will be my next video, so please stay tuned for that. Anyway, this friction of wanting to be on my phone but it's not accessible to the distractions created a pause for me. So now when I use my phone, I actually think, do I actually want to use this right now? And I end up just using it for the tool that it needs to be. Now, with a simplified phone, that means that I don't have streaming services. In fact, I actually removed all streaming services. I canceled Netflix, HBO Max, and worst of all, Peacock. When everything is available all the time, nothing is special, or it doesn't feel that way. Without autoplay and endless options, watching something actually will become a decision instead of a reflex. You know that feeling when you have a long day at work, you come home, you binge watch so much TV because Netflix just autoplays everything and you're like, why did I watch all this? I actually wanted to make my art or keep writing my novel, stuff like that. Well, instead of it being habitual, you're now actively choosing. So removing streaming services is very important, at least in my opinion. You don't have to, it's pretty harsh, but I recommend doing it. Also with YouTube, what I recommend with YouTube is only staying subscribed to the YouTubers you're actively watching. So I'm only actively watching a certain amount of YouTubers, and there are a lot of other channels I notice that I'm subscribed to, but I'm not actually watching all their videos. So I've decided to unsubscribe if I don't watch someone's videos as much anymore. Not out of negativity, but honesty. And this may seem like common sense, but not a lot of people intentionally recheck their algorithm in their feed because who cares, right? It keeps my feed intentional instead of overwhelming, and it doesn't send me down a rabbit hole of suggestions and the YouTube algorithm, right? And I truly recommend this. Now, with no streaming services and a curated YouTube selection, this naturally led me to physical media, especially owning DVDs and box sets. Trust me, I recommend this one full-heartedly. There's something just really grounding about owning a movie or a TV show. For me, I mostly watch my comfort TV shows, the ones that I turn to over and over again, like Buffy, Parks and Rec, Superstore, BBC Merlin, stuff like that. Buying full box sets allows me to own my favorite TV shows, and I can revisit them with true ownership. When you rely on streaming services, you are not guaranteed access to that media forever. It is always likely for those streaming services to remove them, transfer them to other services, and then you end up spending more money on multiple streaming services because not all your favorite stuff is on one exact streaming service. Unless it's Peacock. Peacock is my favorite streaming service because it has all of my favorite shows, and I'm currently watching Traitors, so I did not officially cancel my Peacock because I need to finish the current season of Traitors. Anyway, I digress. Having your own collection of CDs and DVDs and books allows you to slow down. Physical media forces you to slow down your digital media consumption. You choose something, commit to it, and give it your full attention. It turns watching something into an event instead of it just being background noise. Now, I admit, having your own DVD collection nowadays can be expensive, so I would recommend going to Facebook Marketplace, going to your thrift shops, or even going to eBay to get used DVDs for so much cheaper. Along with having your own DVD collection, I recommend getting a library card. The library is like the opposite of an algorithm-driven media. It is literally a place where you can go and explore whatever you want. Most libraries usually have DVD selections, and so go to your library, ask them, see if they do. I go to my library and I go to the DVD selection and I pick out 5 movies I've never seen before. This is a fun way for me to discover new stuff without relying on streaming services. It's also a way to get rid of choice paralysis for me. It keeps my media choices intentional and exploratory. Another small but important habit is just whenever I am consuming media, I put my phone in a different room. Just do it. Trust me, put your phone in another room while you're watching a movie, because if my phone is next to me, I'm not really watching, I'm half scrolling and I'm half present. Giving a movie your full attention makes it more memorable and more meaningful, trust me. I actually remember what I watched and how it made me feel. Now finally, going back to what I first talked about, keeping a media journal. Keep one. Trust me. You can use Letterboxd if you want, but I recommend using a real paperback journal with paper and pen. Write down what you watched or played or read and just have a few thoughts about it. They don't necessarily have to be reviews, just reflections. A media journal helps me notice patterns and what I'm drawn to and why. It turns media into a conversation instead of just noise. Now, that's really all I have for you today, and I don't really follow these habits perfectly. I'm not a perfect person. Sometimes I still binge, sometimes I still scroll, sometimes I even ignore my own timers. But these methods help me notice the difference between choosing media and using it to avoid something. Being an intentional media consumer doesn't mean cutting everything out. It's not about restriction, it's about choice. It's about slowing down, paying attention, and connecting with the media that truly matters to you. Even small changes like unsubscribing from a channel, owning DVDs, keeping a journal can make your experience richer and more meaningful. So take a moment, reflect on what you really want to watch, read, or play, and let your choices reflect that. So take it one step at a time and enjoy the moments that truly matter. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Kay. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment what is your favorite TV show and why. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.